Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Property Particulars, which is our podcast from the Lester Aldridge residential property team. And today we have Natasha Mallett here.
Hello.
Hi, Natasha, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Tell everybody about who you are in our team and how long you've been at Lester Aldridge, please.
Of course. So I'm Natasha Mallett, as you said, and I'm an associate at Lester Aldridge in the residential property team. I'm based in our South Coast Bournemouth office, and I've been with Lester Aldridge since 2022. I've been qualified as solicitor since 2018, so coming up 6 years now.
Wow.
So, yeah. And, I'm, like I said, based in Bournemouth office, but work quite a lot with the London office as well.
And actually, 2022, I feel like you've been in our team like much longer than that.
It does feel that way,
Yeah?
doesn't it? Yeah, it's gone so quickly.
Wow. So are you just coming up for 2 years then?
It's about 16 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. And let's do a bit of setting of so the Bournemouth team and the London team,
Yeah.
we all work together.
We do, yeah.
But in Bournemouth office, who is in your team, and what areas are you kind of working in down there?
So we do a lot of properties in our local area. So we have Sandbanks, we're very lucky to have. We have Camford Cliffs. We also have Southbourne, Bournemouth, Christchurch, all really lovely areas.
Yeah.
And we also do work kind of with London. We do work throughout the whole of England. So I've got cases at the moment in Manchester, in Birmingham. So even though we are based in Bournemouth, we have work kind of across the country because our clients are buying across the country.
Yeah, exactly.
And in terms of our team, we have 5 fee earners currently, and we're supported by paralegals as well.
Yeah. And we're all one big team together.
We are, yes, we are.
I quite like when I get because I've come from up north, and I sometimes get my friends transactions to do back up in Newcastle.
Yeah.
And I love doing a little transaction that's not in your area.
It is, yeah. It's a bit different, a bit of a challenge
mix it up a
sometimes,
bit.
and yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Cool, excellent. All right, we're going to ask some legally points or transactional questions. So one of the things that I get asked about, and I'd be interested if you get asked the same. So you get a purchase transaction, and your client, the memorandum of sale comes out. Mm-hmm. I think, so often the first question I get is, when do you think I can exchange and complete?
100%.
Yeah, and it's like,
And I get it. When you're buying, you just want to be in. You found your dream home, and you just want to be in that property. So yeah. I've been there myself, and I completely understand. And in terms of timescales, we do have a very rough timescale that we give clients.
Yeah.
We like to say about 6 to 8 weeks, but it can vary on so many different factors. So whether you're buying a house or a flat can make a difference. Usually flats take longer. If you're getting a mortgage, then we have to adhere to your mortgage lender requirements, which can be a bit more in-depth than if you're a cash buyer. If you have intricate source of funds that we have to go through, that can take a little bit of time. There's nothing that we can't do, but there's things that can delay matters. And also we're so totally reliant on third parties.
Yeah, that's it. The third parties is the bit that I always go in straight away with our clients and go, we can do it if you want to do it in a week,
yeah.
we can make that happen for you, but we're reliant on so many other people. And I often think the indicative thing if we're buying for clients is, if we get the contract pack the same day from the seller's solicitor, then they're on it as well. Yeah. They're kind of on it to get this through. But if they're not and we're waiting, then that's going to affect the timeline straight away.
So the 6 to 8 kind of indicative timeline is based on when we get the contract pack. So if you haven't got proactive solicitors acting for your vendor, then already you're kind of on the back foot. So it's really important that the person selling has proactive solicitors, and the estate agents are really helpful in that respect because they'll know who's best to deal with, and we work really closely with our estate agent referrers as well for that.
Yeah, I always think it's good with the agents that we need their help. For example, in that scenario we've just said about if you are waiting 2 weeks from memo and you haven't got a contract pack, you can chase the other lawyer, but there might be reasons that we don't know about as to why that lawyer's not sent a contract pack out.
Yeah,
but sometimes the agent can help us in that.
They're key. They're absolutely key to it because we can't discuss directly. We can't speak to the seller directly. It's a conflict. So we are very heavily reliant on the agents being at that go-between, and they can be amazing at getting things through quickly for us as well.
Yeah, I think so, and they're so helpful sometimes in that regard.
Definitely.
And then when we have got contract pack in, you can actually then start work, and as you say, that's kind of like when your timeline will start. But But then on the leasehold, when you might get a contract pack in, but sometimes that's kind of missing the management pack.
Yep. And so we need the management pack to be able to fully report to our clients,
Yeah.
being able to fully report to lenders, raise any inquiries we might need to raise. So like we've said before, there's so many different factors that can come into it. But as long as everyone is on the ball and deals with things when they come in, which we do, then it should be a fairly smooth transaction.
Yeah, exactly. And so then we move on a bit further. We've done our due diligence, we've raised inquiries,
Yeah.
we're getting through the transaction, we're getting to the exciting bit,
Yes.
exchange and completion, etc. So I wonder again whether you get the question that I get a lot, which is when you are talking to our clients about, right, we're near, let's start signing up. Transfer deposit,
Yeah.
these key dates that get talked about all the time. And we just sometimes say exchange, but of course we mean exchange of contracts,
Yes.
legally entering into the contract, and then the completion date. And the question I get quite often there is like, well, like how long am I allowed between exchange and completion?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a common misconception that there has to be a period of time between exchange and completion. But depending on circumstances, we can exchange and complete on the same day. We can exchange and complete with a week in between or months in between. It completely varies on the parties' requirements in the transaction. So there is no set time period between exchange and completion. And what we also get asked quite a lot is what's the exchange date?
Yeah.
And we never really fix an exchange date. Sometimes we'll have a guideline, we have to exchange by a certain date, but we don't tend to fix an exchange date. It's actually the completion date that's fixed, and exchange comes just when all the parties are ready.
Yeah, I think that's so true that sometimes clients may be asking, or the chain or the agents are asking about, oh, can we exchange on this date? And I'm like, but the key thing is actually what date does everybody want for completion?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That-
I also think you start at the completion date and then work back
course
to
you do.
see when you can get exchanged and
Agreed,
etc.
yeah.
Yeah, cool. So let's move on to completion date,
Yes.
which is the exciting bit, of
It
course,
is.
for everybody
That's when
get
they
your
get their keys.
Yeah, but I mean, again, what do you get asked about a completion date from clients? What's your standard thing that gets asked?
So clients will ask, what do I need to do on the day?
Yeah.
Do I need to sign anything? What do you need from me? And we have everything we need by completion from the clients. We have all of that beforehand. The client just focuses on moving, on completion.
Yes.
That's what they need to focus on. It's going to be a stressful day when you move. So we have everything signed beforehand. We've got all the money. The clients will then just be safe to move, and we'll give them a call when they can collect their keys from the estate agent.
Yeah, so I quite often get asked as well, like, do I need to come into the office on completion day?
Yeah, you don't.
No, absolutely not. I don't want to see
Please
you
don't do
then.
that, no.
Enjoy moving in.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got it all done in advance, yes.
We have, yes. And people do sometimes still ask, do we have to complete on a Friday? No. We can complete any weekday, just not weekends.
Yeah, well, I often still get asked, like, can I do it on this date? Actually, do you know, when people start talking about dates, I always say to everybody in the team, like, we should always, in our emails, correspondence, talk about the date with the day,
Yes.
so that we're reminding ourselves
Yes.
as well.
I agree.
Because sometimes we can be so busy and somebody's pitched a date, and
That
then we
is-
look in the calendar and we're like, oh,
It's a
that
Sunday.
is a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, I'm not working that day because
Yes.
it's a weekend. I mean,
Agreed.
we could work, but the banks won't be working that day
Exactly.
to transfer
It's not our
funds.
fault, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We would do, of course we would do it. Yeah, that's really cool advice for clients. And what about any practical tips that you might get asked by clients on, like, what do I do when I move in?
So there's plenty of things that you can think of. So make sure you do your meter readings on the day that you move in. So you need to let all the utilities know what the meters were, so that you're only being charged for starting that day.
Yeah.
In terms of packing, a really good idea is to ask your removals if they can come the day before, pack you up, so that on the day of moving, you don't have to worry about it at all. From experience, it takes a long time to pack, so it's going to take longer than you expect.
I think that is one of the best tips ever, and I'm sure agents. I know that agents tell buyers and sellers the same thing as well. Get ready in advance. I have definitely had some clients before that have then said, yeah, the removers are coming in at 10 a.m. and I've been like,
Oh.
no,
They're not.
you need to do it much earlier than
Yeah,
that,
100%.
because of course we have like a contract time, don't we, to
We
complete.
do. Yeah, so usually that will be 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. So you need to be, the sellers need to be out of the
Out.
property by that time.
Yeah.
So if you're not starting packing till 10, you're
Yeah.
cutting a fine
You're gonna-
line.
and it's just going to be stressful for them if
It
that
is.
happens.
Exactly.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much. Right, let's switch from transactional advice.
Yes.
What about you and your property particulars?
Yes.
Have you bought and sold properties before?
Yes.
Have you been a good client?
I would like to
Have you
think
been
so.
stressed?
Yes to all the above. I have bought and sold before. I
Yeah.
bought my first property when I was just out of uni, a flat in Bournemouth, and now I'm just recently moved to in November
Okay.
to a bungalow that I'm renovating. So
Wow.
that's stressful in itself. But in
Uh-huh.
terms of the transaction, it was helpful being in the business and knowing what was going on, but regardless, it is stressful. It's one of the most stressful things you can do, moving, and no matter how prepared you are, there is always going to be a bit of stress involved. But again, that's what we're here for, to try and take some of that stress away.
Yeah, and you're doing like double whammies. You've bought and now you're renovating.
Yeah.
And is this a full, like, everything?
Yes, it's a
Oh, wow.
1960s bungalow with a pink bathroom. So
Oh my God,
yeah.
are you keeping the pink bathroom?
I'm growing on it. It's growing on me. So
I love it.
potentially.
Yeah, well, if not, get it on eBay or something,
Oh, I
I'm
will be
sure.
selling it, yeah,
Yes, that's
definitely.
like a
Someone will
vintage
buy it.
item.
It will,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Okay, thank you so much.
No
Final
worries.
question.
Yes.
Fantasy property, dream house. What would be your dream house? This could be style of house, location, feature
So-
in a house.
I mean, I'd love a swimming pool, but I
Yeah.
think in terms of location, it's always been my dream to live in Camford Cliffs,
Okay.
which is a lovely area in the south coast by the beaches. So that's the goal. I'll get there one day, and that's what I'm aiming for.
Definitely. And I like the pool idea as well.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, and actually, we have like, when you are buying a swimming pool, we have like a whole extra set of inquiries we need to do,
Yes.
don't we?
Yeah.
Which is
Noted.
fine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, well, when you get to that stage, I'm more than happy to act for you in buying the house with the pool.
Thank you very much.
Natasha, thank you so much for coming on this episode of Property Particulars.
Thank you for having me.
That's okay. Please join us again for another episode of Property Particulars here on the LA podcast. And please also follow our social channels. Our Instagram is @Lester Aldridge Property.